Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and I absolutely love my Switch. It is a fun console. I love how much power they put into this small little thing, but this thing is far from perfect. This is not going to be a review for say, this is stuff that I would love to see happen to the Switch. But if you do want to see a review, just let me know, and who knows, I might do it. So today in this video, we're going to be talking about some things that I would love for the Switch to see. Sure, this thing is great, and I would be a Nintendo fanboy being all like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. But there's still a lot this thing needs before it to be, I want to say, a 9 out of 10. And one of the first things that it should fix is pretty much just fix the thing. What I mean is, fix the Wi-Fi connectivity issues. Fix the Joy-Con connectivity issues. And I'm hoping, this thing's probably not going to happen, but I would love this thing to get an overclock. But an overclock is relatively sketchy because this thing runs relatively hot when it's docked playing Zelda. With that being said, when it's docked playing Zelda, it's running at 900p at 30 frames a second, and it's having a hard time pushing to 30 frames a second sometimes. Like, I love Zelda, it's a great game, but if it's more capable as being played as a handheld with less frame rate issues, that's a problem. But again, I remember I took the thing out of its dock so I can go poop while playing Zelda, and that thing was freaking hot. But with that being said, it's apparently not enough to push to 30 frames. So it'd be nice for this thing to get a small power boost for the game at least. Apparently the Joy-Con issue seems to be a hardware issue. I know some guy added like an extra antenna, or extended the antenna somehow into one Joy-Con and made the thing work even better. There might be a firmware thing that they can do, but I don't know, I'm not an engineer or a doctor. Another thing that this thing could use is a better battery. A lot of people are being really harsh on the battery, but you gotta understand this. Half the thing is the battery. Like, the battery takes up a good portion of the Switch's, real estate? I don't think that's a good word. Pretty much, the battery takes up half the inside. And it's a relatively big battery. Like, when it comes to the milliamp hours, it's bigger than my iPhone. However, less than 3 hours while playing Zelda, that isn't very great. But then again, look at my gaming laptop. That thing is huge, and that thing can only run about like 5 hours, not even 4 hours when you're playing a game. So with a unit that small and people are complaining about the battery, but I'm pretty confident one day they're going to be making an even improved unit, like pretty much, I don't want to say a slim model, but they're going to remodel the thing most likely if it's really successful, with hopefully a better battery. I mean, look at the original 3DS. That thing had a terrible battery, but when it got different versions, it got better batteries. Some of it being because it's a bigger unit. I hope you don't get a bigger Switch, because people are already complaining about the size. So if you get a bigger one, it's just going to make people complain even more. Or make people happy because it's going to be a bigger screen. And a bigger battery, and whatever. But a thing that this thing also needs is, not to be bare bones. This thing is strictly a gaming machine. But I would love to see more stuff onto it, like an internet browser, and hopefully Netflix and YouTube apps. And Hulu Plus and Crunchyroll and all that other stuff too, but you get what I mean. Right now, all you can do is pretty much play games on it, and people are trying to find a way to get into an internet browser. You see, people want this thing, but Nintendo took it away because apparently it's very easy to exploit the 3DS and the Wii U through its browser. I know about the Wii U being exploited because I've done it myself. But people are already exploiting the Switch to an extent. Hackers are going to find a way to get into it one way or another. I would love to be able to use this thing as a full-fledged tablet, because that's the closest thing to a tablet that I have, honestly. I would love to be able to take it out into the living room and surf the internet and whatever. But with that being said, I would love this thing to be more like a full-fledged tablet. And what I mean by that is I would love to see a whole bunch of different third parties developing for this thing. I want this thing to get like App Store and Google Play Store type of support. Like, look at all the games that are being ported to iPhones and stuff. We are getting classic GTA games on a phone. I would love to play games like Bully and GTA and stuff like that on my Switch. The thing is more than capable of running those things. So it'd be really awesome if Nintendo could talk to Rockstar or Take-Two or whatever to develop a Switch versions of those games. The hardware can run it no problem. It's just a matter of Nintendo pretty much kissing their ass and saying, hey, support our console. It's selling pretty well as of now. Please freaking develop this shit for it. As much as I want to play Bully and stuff again, I don't want to play it on a phone. I'm not going to get it on my Switch, then I might as well just pick it up on my PC then. but I'd rather have it on my Switch because one, it's a console, and two, I could take it on the go. As I said earlier, I want this thing to be a full-fledged tablet. I would love for there to be more apps like Facebook and Twitter and other stuff like that. I want this thing to pretty much be a legit tablet. The only thing it's not going to have is probably 4G LTE, unless they make a unit that does that. Look how well that worked out for the Vita. My point, I would love this thing to be more like a full-fledged tablet. Even though this thing is being marketed as a console you can take on the go, let's be real, Nintendo's not the best at selling home consoles. In the past 20 years, the best thing they sold was the Wii. However, their handhelds, oh my god, they're successful every time. So it'd be really cool if this thing was marketed more as a handheld than a console. But with some of the commercials, you see that it's almost being marketed like that. They would market it as a handheld you can plug into your TV and play like a console, then it might be more successful. But as it being marketed as a console, people are going to be all like, why spend $300 on this when I can buy a PS4 or an Xbox One with a game for even cheaper? At least if you go on Amazon. But if it's marketed as a powerful handheld, then it will pretty much do really well. Watch, they're going to make a Pokemon game for the thing, and that's just going to sell a crap ton of units. And this is something that this one YouTuber called Beat 'em Ups, his name's Wood. This is something that he brought up. Here, right now, Nintendo at first, he didn't mention this, but Nintendo at first wanted to support both the Wii U, the Switch, the 3DS, and their mobile games all in one ecosystem. But obviously they abandoned that once the Switch dropped, because they got rid of the Wii U immediately. Like, if you go on Nintendo's website and you think of things that you can buy, like it says, oh, buy a system or something like that, it's pretty much only talking about 2DS, new 3DS, and Switch. You can't even buy new Wii U's anymore. Nintendo dropped that thing like it's a freaking rock. But as of right now, they are supporting both the Switch and the 3DS. And apparently the 3DS might get support until at least 2018. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the 3DS. It's a great handheld. But if the Switch is going to also kind of function as a handheld, people would rather save $100 and just pick up a 3DS. Because the thing has a much bigger library, a really good library. And plus, apparently the Switch has a lot of issues that people are complaining about. One, freaking fix the thing. And two, as much as I love the 3DS, the thing is outdated hardware. The thing can barely run the new Pokemon games. They had to drop the 3D, the gimmick of the 3DS. They had to drop that for this thing to run relatively smooth. But if you have an original 3DS, like not a new 3DS, but if you have the other models that don't have the new in the name, the thing has a hard time functioning. Hell, 4-player battles or whatever, when there's like 4 Pokemon at a time or something like that, I can't remember how, like what happened. Pretty much the thing runs at like 12 frames a second or something like that. It's abysmal. So it's showing its age. And apparently it's doing that on the new 3DS as well. So Nintendo, it's time. Drop the 3DS. Only market the Switch. Make that be your console. Make that be your handheld. Show it off to everybody. Make it your all-in-one. And if this thing is also a full-fledged tablet with Facebook, Twitter, whatever, pretty much all the apps that you would get on a regular tablet, at least that a kid would want, make that your selling point. This thing could kick ass. And trust me, it kind of does. But this thing could kick ass even more. The one last thing that I can think of that this thing really needs is a price drop. When I was seeing the Wii U coming out, I was expecting this thing to be about $250. But $300? Again, like I said earlier, for $300, you can get a PS4 with Uncharted 4 or an Xbox One with some other game. But with the Switch, you're paying $300 and you still gotta buy Zelda. I mean, eventually they are gonna make bundles, don't get me wrong. I mean, the other consoles didn't have bundles at launch, except for the Xbox One S, I think. But you get what I mean. This thing needs a price drop eventually. And I think the best way to do that is to kind of get rid of the dock. Again, like I said, if you market this thing more as a handheld, then it might be more successful, especially if it gets a nice price drop like that. And then sell the dock by itself so people can play it on their TVs. And I'm not just talking about a price drop for the system itself, I mean a price drop on everything. When the Switch came out, everything got a huge markup. Look at the Pro Controller. The Pro Controller is $70. It shouldn't be that expensive. But the one thing that got marked up that really irritated me was Amiibos. The Breath of the Wild Amiibos, those things are $17 a pop. Amiibos should only be about $13. But I can almost understand the Guardian being that expensive. But all the other ones? No! There is no excuse for those amiibos to be marked up that much. I know Nintendo's hurting for money. Kinda. Don't make us pay for your mistakes. I would love to see the Joy-Cons drop down to like 60. Pro Controller be about 50. Have amiibos go back to 13. And have the console be about like 250. But that's everything that I can think of. If you got any more ideas, let me know in the comments. I would love to see more. Before you guys say it, yes, I would love to see a Pokemon game on the Switch. And if a Pokemon game comes to the Switch, I'll buy it. I'm not into Pokemon as much as I used to, but damn, a Pokemon on a console again? Yes, please! But again, let me know in the comments what kind of support, what kind of new things that you would love to see on the Switch. Also, themes would be really cool too. I hope we get more themes, but I'm pretty confident we'll get to those soon. But again, the Switch needs a lot more to be an amazing console. I want this thing to outsell the Xbox One. I have a feeling that it could. If it got more support like this, and absolutely it will. And right now, the Xbox One has the most stuff on it, in my opinion. Like the Gamer Pass and backwards compatibility and a bunch of stuff like that. The Xbox One, in my opinion, is kind of underrated. But with that being said, I want this thing to be dead last. I want the Switch to at least be number 2. Because there's no way in hell it's going to outsell the PS4. As much as I love the Switch, as much as I love Nintendo, that's probably not going to happen. It would be a great day. But I do believe it does have a decent chance of outselling the Xbox One. If Nintendo plays their cards right. So Nintendo, go out to Rockstar, get GTA and Bully on the Switch, try to get more apps on this thing, please make this thing an awesome tablet. But with that being said, I should probably end things off. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's all my social medias like my Twitter, my Snapchat, my Instagram, and my Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.